It's time for another episode of All Right Bet. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time for another episode of All Right Bet. Andy St. Clair in the house, man. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, man.
Good.
Doing well.
Today I wanted to give a shout out to a person who'll never hear this podcast, and that's my mom. It's her birthday. She has no idea what sports betting is or anything like that. So happy birthday to my mom.
All right. Well, hey, happy birthday, Mrs. St. Clair, from everybody at DWMOD, especially your son, Andy.
Yeah. She'll never hear it. She'll never hear it. So one day, maybe she'll hear it, but not anytime soon. I can promise you that.
Yeah, just send her a drop, brother. Just send her a drop for the show, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, hey, man, let's dive into 2 weeks in a row. We have beat the guest picker, and we're back on the mat. Last week, the USFL Michigan Panthers' own Cole Money Murphy came in here, and he put it on us, and he beat us. You went 2-4, but +2. Your +2 on the over-under last week was a big help on the over-under for you moving forward on the season totals. I went 2-4, -4 on the over-under. I'm just taking on the chin on the over-unders, man. I'm going to tell you that right now. But Cole goes 3-3, and not only does he go 3-3, but he goes even on the over-under. You know how hard that is. He goes even on the over-under. It gives the guests an even bigger margin in that over-under tiebreaker. So we're going to have to start beating them out right here. Now, Cole, for all intent and purposes, should have been 4-2, but he rode ride or die with his Syracuse Orangemen, and you could hear him. He knew North Carolina was going to win the game, but he went with the Orange.
That was a bad bet. We were all on that one. I as soon as that game started, I regretted it. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Right away regretted it on that one. Hey, so that takes our season totals to, you're at 17-13. That's damn good gambling right there. I'm at 16-14. Anything north of 500 is good gambling. And the guests are at 16-14. So we are close. We are close right there. It's been a lot of fun, but we got a great guest on the show this week, guys. You absolutely are going to, you know the name, you will know the voice. We're going to bring in star of the silver screen television star, but more importantly and more famously known, a star of the microphone, and that's Mr. Nolan North. Man, let's bring him in. Hey, Nolan, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Good, man. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to be seen.
I mean, you got the setup behind you there.
Yeah. Well, my wife, I got, different games and stuff and animation I've done. They send me the toys or something and the figures. So, and as a kid who loved action figures, I'm really proud to have them, but they're not allowed to be displayed anywhere except this little closet that I'm sitting in where I work. So I had to put a few over here. So
I hear you. See, I got it behind me too. It's only allowed in the room here with me.
Yeah. So, but it's all good as long as I don't have to throw it away or put it in a box. It's fine.
Right. Well, hey, for everybody that tunes into the show, a lot of gamers that I know in my group of friends and folks that watch the show, they may not have been familiar with you till they just heard the name. But I can't run down all the games that you've been a part of.
Neither can I.
In. Oh God. I mean, it would literally take up the whole hour, but just a few like major franchises of stuff that you've been involved with, Destiny, Call of Duty, Transformers, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, but bigger ones that your major character roles in, like The Last of Us, Final Fantasy, Assassin's Creed, Prince of Persia, and ultimately, correct me if I'm wrong, but most famous for playing the Nathan Drake in the Uncharted series.
There you go. Yeah, Nathan Drake has been kind of my that's the thing that keeps paying the bills, I suppose. It's been it was quite a thing. Nathan Drake, for anyone who doesn't know, is kind of a Indiana Jones type guy. Remember, it's kind of like I remember when we first started, they said this is like Tomb Raider. This is just Dude Raider. but it ended up being a lot more than that. Just the way we performed it all in, motion capture. It's not just sitting in front of a mic and doing it. It's actually just same way they shot Avatar or anything like that. All the actors are there actually doing it. Kind of like well-paid theater. That's what I used to tell people. And
Hollywood's sometimes so simple, right? Like you're like, it's Dude Raider. And you're like, okay. I get it.
Yeah, as long as the check clears, you can call it whatever you want.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so yeah, and Nathan Drake, he's globe-trotting adventurer, and I think because of its popularity and its success between convention circuits and Sony's publicity, I've traveled more than Nathan Drake has traveled because of Nathan Drake. So it's all working out.
Yeah, that's been great, man. And the live action movie, we went and saw it at the theater, and it was fantastic. I mean, obviously you probably thought the same thing, I would imagine.
Yeah. They had to bring in Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, arguably two of the biggest box office stars that got this done. And what I'm really happy with is that so Tom and Mark knocked it out of the park, but Sony made it a point to say, look, the games are movies themselves, so we don't want to infringe on that. And you meet Drake around the time when he's like 30, 35 in their early 30s to where he gets to early to mid 40s. That's the other thing about this franchise is they allowed the lead character to age with the actor, just like you would a movie franchise.
Smart.
And that's what they treated it like. So when they wanted to do films, they said, why don't no one's ever seen Drake in his 20s. Where was he? And, I think that basically that premise was a great idea, because now they have the ability to create their own franchise of movies with Drake in his 20s. And, throwing me a bone there for a little cameo. It was real rough having to fly first class to Barcelona, to do 8 seconds on screen, but I'm up for the challenge.
Listen, you nailed that scene. Let's check it out right here.
Oh,
whoa! What the hell happened to you two?
Fell out of a car that fell out of a plane?
Huh? Hey, something like that happened to me once.
Okay.
Good luck.
Yeah. There you go, man.
What's funny is we had a line in between there. He said, fell out of a car, fell out of a plane. I looked at him and I said the line, yeah, something like that happened to me once. And Tom, because we ended up ad-libbing that scene, and Tom looked at me and he goes, really? And I said, kid, you have no idea. And that's when he looked at her and it goes, okay. And he walked. So, and they cut. I had another line.
Yeah. I felt like a good one too, I think.
But it's cool. And the one thing Ruben Fleischer, the director, did well, I said, look, just I know what cameos are, and I usually don't like them. I said, but take a page out of Stan Lee, make it quick, and get the hell out of there. And I think they did that well. My favorite thing, though, is my brother was in Florida watching it in the theater, and he said it was so funny. He said when you showed up, half the audience started screaming and cheering, followed immediately by the other half of the audience screaming at them to sit down and shut up because they had no idea who I am. And I love that. I love the idea that somebody went home going, what the hell was the guy on the beach all about? I think that makes me laugh.
That's great. I was going to say before you said that, we went and saw it opening weekend in LA. And when you came on the screen, like the whole theater was like, woo, and clapping and stuff. And I'm like, they know, man. They know who he is, man. It was great.
It's so interesting, like the video game world, I'm actually gotten back into it over the course of the last, I have a birthday in April. So I bought a PS5 for the first time and ever. I've never had a PlayStation.
Sure.
And the video games are just, this is going to sound stupid, so I'm prepared for it, but they're incredible. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like its own show, and it's just I'm just blown away by, I had an Xbox, but I probably haven't played one in 6 years, and just am blown away. And I'm blown away by the voice talent, and I'm blown away by the way it looks and
the way the mechanics and the, I while I appreciate it, people notice the acting and all that stuff, and it's great. And, it's been a blessing, but when you really, I got to work with the people at Naughty Dog. I got to see how these games were made, and the engineers and the the graphic, the designers, and the programmers and the artists on this that make this possible they're unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I just got I don't play. I'm terrible. I mean, I was joystick button. That's it. The only other games like my kids, when they were younger, they had the little Mario Kart on the Nintendo, the handheld thing. And when they were, playing it when they weren't supposed to, I took it away, and then, sitting there by my wife in bed, she's trying to sleep. I'm like, come on, Luigi.
Yeah, right.
So, but I actually done that too. I renovated space here in the house and TV, and I got the PS5, and I'm still threatening to go through all the Uncharted's, because you can get the Nathan Drake collection, which is the 1, 2, and 3, and they're that's if you have a PS5, you really ought to play those, because they are timeless.
That's the good thing about a guy like myself, who's kind of a noob, I would say, in the PS world. Like, there's all these awesome titles, like Uncharted, Last of Us, God of War. There's all these just amazing titles that have a huge franchise, that I've never played. That, like, I don't have to spend the $100 on these video games, for the newest ones. I can just slowly go through these old franchises and have a great goddamn time.
Yeah. You just fantastic. My problem is I just go down the rabbit hole, and nobody sees me for like a month.
Right. It's, I have it out here in my garage where I'm at right now. I have my TV and my PS5. Like, I have to be very mindful. Like, I cannot start when I play at like 9:30 at night, because next thing you know, it's like 1:15 in the morning. And I'm like, I have a 4-year-old daughter who's going to get up at like 6:30. Like, it's a nightmare.
She won't know who you are anymore. You'll be gone for so long.
She won't.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why these things have sparked all these franchise televisions and movies, and like Assassin's Creed, Prince of Persia. The Last of Us is a huge hit on HBO. That's going to continue going on. They have to be making another Uncharted. That thing did really well.
I would think. I'm not really in the know. I saw Mark about a month ago, and he was mentioning, you have to make sure they get a good script, something that they can be proud of.
Right. TV shows as well.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to he doesn't want to just throw another one out there just to throw it out there. He wants it to be well made. So I think there's, they take it seriously. It's not like these aren't people that are just, slap it up there and throw it in the theater. Their names on it, so they want it to be something of quality. Of course, nothing's happening right now because of the strike.
For sure.
That we, fingers crossed, we're getting closer to solving this. It was a big boost when the WGA got to settle their strike. So hopefully, the grievances were very similar to what the WGA. So we're very hopeful, because we want to get back to work. On camera too. I'm doing a new on-camera show here in Atlanta, and I can't even talk about it. So I want to get back to work. And even if they strike a deal tomorrow, I don't think I'll be back on set till January, because usually by the time Thanksgiving rolls around and December, Hollywood will shut down.
It's kind of like Thanksgiving, and I'll see you January 12th.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's that we're going to take the next 8 weeks and do nothing.
Right.
So, but by the way, I am very, very good at doing nothing.
Yeah. I'm used to it.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know.
You can ask my
I
wife.
wouldn't say that.
For sure.
I wouldn't say that, because like I said before, the list of things that you have done is never ending, and animated stuff that you've done. Like, you got to do the voice for Raphael and Ninja Turtles, Cyclops, X-Men, Superman, Smokescreen, and Transformers, Deadpool, Penguin, Joker, Tony Stark. You've done them all, man. It's just, that has to be a lot of fun.
It is. I actually just was doing an interview the other day for Superman, Superboy. They're doing some kind of a book, and just talking about the fact that I did a show called Young Justice, and they cast me as Superboy. And I remember the first day I walked in, the producer came. He said, "Hey, I forgot to ask you. So Superboy is a clone of Superman. So technically they'd have the similar voice box. And then he said this, would you mind playing Superman in the series too? And it was just like, what? No, I don't mind. Of course, you're kidding. Right, it's like this iconic character. It's so yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, I love everything I get to do, whether it's on stage or in front of a camera or microphone. But there's something special about voiceover because you can be anything. On camera, I'm fairly limited to, my size, what I look like skin color, hair color, all that kind of stuff. While things can be changed, it's, you're kind of, there are parameters, right? But I mean, I've come home and told my wife, oh, today I was a Viking beaver. I did cat noises for 2 hours. Yeah. But the other thing is I've always been a fan of it too. I mean, I've done a number of Scooby-Doos, and that was kind of my thing when I was young.
Yeah.
And, Frank Welker, who has been Freddy since its inception in 1969, and then about 30 years ago or so, maybe more, took over as Scooby as well. And he was like a hero of mine. And then I got to meet him, and then he found out I played golf, and then we ended up becoming golf buddies.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he also was Megatron in the cartoon series I did with Transformers. But what's cool is I think about 5 or 6 times I got to say, and I would have got away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids in different voices. Right. And there's something special about sitting there and you're in this room with these other actors because we record separately since COVID, but we used to record together in a studio. And to hear Frank Welker doing Scooby and he's 8 feet away from you, right. Everybody's there. It's kind of I have had many pinch me moments because I think people don't realize that we're fans of the people we work with just as much as anybody. So it's been quite a ride.
That's that is pretty, like, I'm just listening to you tell it and I'm imagining in my mind, I'm like, to be in that room and then to get to deliver that line at the end of a Scooby, that's a big deal, man.
I know, but you can't believe but you hear he's over there going, yeah, and you're going,
yeah, right.
That is a funny story. I was doing my first time with Transformers Prime, we did. And I remember it was kind of this, the glasses in front of you with the engineers, the director, the producers. And then in a room, we're basically in a U shape with the mic stands and your mics. And you're standing up and you got your script in front of you, and a little light because it's kind of dim. And right down to my left was Peter Cullen, who is, Optimus Prime, the Optimus Prime everyone knows.
Yeah.
Frank Welker next to him, Steve Bloom, Kevin Michael Richards. I mean, and I was like, I don't know, Optimus, what are we going to do? And I got my headphone and I'm looking at my script and in my headphones, I hear Autobots roll out. Awesome. And I went, ah! and I ruined the take because I completely geeked out and everyone laughed and we did it again. And, they turned my mic off and I was like, but he said the thing. He said the thing. He was right there. And I tell that story because I geek out about it. I mean, and he's the sweetest guy. And for anybody who has kids that are about my age that had kids, he's also Eeyore from all the Winnie the Pooh stories, and Jim Cummings is a buddy of mine. That's Winnie the Pooh and Tigger. I mean, he's like, and he's the guy, he's like, hey, you want to go get a bourbon? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And he'll say it like Pooh or Tigger, and you're like, this is the best. This is the best. I don't know. I don't know how I got here. I always joke with people that, I get paid to do what I got detention in school for, never shutting up. And so I don't know. But
I had $1 for every teacher.
Knock on wood.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. And that's what, well, speaking of like where it started, that's what I'm saying. Let's take it back where it started. Now you're originally from Rhode Island, right? And Southern
Massachusetts and then Rhode Island with the high school and everything.
Okay, so you now a lot of people might not know this, but I find it completely fascinating because this is a sports show where we geek out about
Oh.
everything from voiceover to, and then we get to sports, man. You went to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill on a baseball scholarship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. And the funny thing, it was 30 years ago, a little over, well, more than 30 now, when I got it. The thing is, I don't talk about it too much because I've been able to meet so many guys who went to the bigs, including a guy that I played with, Paul Shuey, played for the Indians, then the Dodgers. Um, he and I were the only two right-handed pitchers brought in that year. And I remember, the bullpen with the double mounds. And we had to show up early our freshman year before school starts. You show up early for fall workouts. And I mean, I think I was there like a week before I had to be there just so I could be like, I was so excited. And I'm throwing in the bullpen, like, ugh, and that echo throughout the stadium. You're like, yeah. And this kid walks down. I'm about 6'1". He's like 6'2", 6'3", maybe. And he just kind of come down, just kind of wandering down. Just lumbering is the word. Just lumbering down. Hat's kind of crooked. He's like, hey, man. And he introduced, we start talking, and I'm throwing, and he's stretching, just kind of getting loose. And I'm really good. Man, he said, you're getting up there. And I'm like, yeah, I can, hit about, high 80s, 90, if I'm good. But really my location, off speed, I got to change up. And we're just talking pitching and everything. And then he gets out, and he's just kind of flipping the ball, warming up. And then he takes, and I'm winding up, and he does just a kind of a kick. And we let go of the ball at the same time or I let it go first, and his ball got there. I think he was still in his kick, and his ball got there before mine hit my catcher. He hit 101 against Georgia Tech as a freshman. He threw smoke. Yeah. And it was like my first day. I went, oh, wow. I may have bit off more than I could chew. I'll put it this way. I was a very little fish in a big pond, but I wouldn't change it for the world. It was such a great experience. I didn't get to play much. I don't have a 1-loss record. I was just spots in here or there. I never started a game. I hurt myself for my junior year, and then senior year, I was invited to succeed elsewhere, as they say. Well, no, but the thing is, it's just even back then, college sports, it's a business. Guys, you have to win, and you're bringing in every year. You have to earn your spot. You have to earn your spot every year, and it's not. They're not playing. You hurt yourself, you go through rehab, you come back. Hey, I think I got it. Now I've lost some velocity, and they got a freshman throwing 94. You're like,
yeah.
He's like, should we pitch you against Clemson or him? And you're like, yeah, right. Well, if it were up to me, money, if my money were on the line, I'm using the other kid. But the thing about it is that year I got hurt. My friends encouraged me. They bet me. I wouldn't get up and do stand-up. We went to a stand-up place, and we were drunk, and they said, dude, you're funnier. You do those voices. You're funnier. You should get up there. And I did. Next thing I know, the guy invites me to be the MC and opening act. He says, you can do 5-7 minutes, then introduce the acts, and I'll give you, $50 a show, which was a shit ton of money. I'm going to make $100. Are you kidding me? In 1990, whatever that was, 91? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And so I started doing that. Then, I took an acting class because I wanted to, quite frankly, honestly, I wanted to meet this girl that was going to take that class. And then I found out like, this is kind of fun. And then the teacher said, hey, I'm going to do a play. You'd be great. You should do a play. You're really doing really well. And I'm like, I'm not going to do a play. And it's like, well, Susanna is, and I'm like, I'll do the play.
I'll do the play.
And it's like, all right. And I did the play, and I loved it. And I still at that time was like, this isn't a job though, And I was a journalism major, played my baseball. It just, honestly, you learn. I worked really hard. My brother, who played at Ole Miss, he's gone on to become a coach. His son is the assistant hitting coach for the Rays right now.
Oh, great.
We're a baseball family, and for me, it was just, I saw very quickly. I worked really hard. I have no regrets because it wasn't on me. It's not like I could sit there going, I wonder if I had good. And I think that's a great life lesson. If you just work hard, if it doesn't work out, it's not your fault. This is just a different, you're being pushed to a different path. And now looking at what I do and what I've been able to accomplish, I should have quit. I should have stopped playing earlier. I mean, sure. God knows where I could have been. But I remember, and I really am not even embarrassed about this. I remember my favorite part of playing at UNC was getting some Copenhagen and sitting in the dugout and, John at the other team telling guys jokes. It was that camaraderie. And then, they signal to get up and I'm like, oh God, please don't put me in. It's like I'm get this crap out of my mouth. I didn't think I was going to throw today. I mean, I remember our coach got us up. We had a tournament and he got me up against Arizona. And I was like, oh no. I thought we went out the night before because it's going to be a great weekend. I'm not playing. I'm a freshman. I'm not playing. Ugh. And I didn't. And the thing is, I didn't get in. It was like, then all of a sudden they switched batters and they brought up a lefty. So this guy, Rich Fernandez, I think it was, he got up. Rich Hernandez, he got up and he started throwing and he went in because they brought in a lefty. And everybody joked. They were like, Jerry Kindle, Hall of Fame college coach, was afraid to face you. Which is not true, but it's a funny story. Right. The thing is like anybody I know, I was good enough to get there, but even if I hadn't gotten hurt, would I have gotten drafted? Could I have? I don't know. Maybe, but am I a single A guy to see if he can get it? So I'm very happy with the way things all worked out. This job requires so much less running.
Yeah. Fair to say it worked out for you, I think, buddy.
Yeah, and I would be retired obviously by now.
For sure.
But UNC, and you said you had Cole. I love Cole Murphy.
Yeah.
Syracuse, which coincidentally, I was actually in Syracuse this past weekend at a convention.
Weird.
Yeah, so I was up there and I was thinking of Cole, but I was a journalism major, and Syracuse and North Carolina, Missouri, really great journalism programs, and that's what I thought I was going to do. And after baseball ended, I did graduate work in Boston, then became a reporter for a year, and then I went back and I was in New York, and I said I'm going to just try that stand-up again. Why not? And then did that and then quit that job. And I ended up just saying, I'd rather be broke and happy than have this. I hated my job. Just reporting on murders and fires and death. It was like,
right.
I was the putz they sent down to the Jersey Shore when there's a nor'easter blowing in going, it's windy.
Yeah.
See the waves?
Yeah, you won't believe this, Carl, but it is raining like dogs out here.
Yeah, exactly. So it basically that, and then I just started doing theater, stand-up, doing whatever I wanted. Came to LA and then booked a TV series. I was doing that on-camera show for 5 years, and then eventually somebody introduced me to a voiceover agent. Now I just throw everything against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, and you blew right by that show, but that show was no, piece of candy. I mean, that's a 5-year stint on a soap opera. That's a spinoff of General Hospital. That's a good gig. That's hitting the ground running as soon as you get to LA, man.
Hey, I was there 6.5 months when I got that. And it was great. It was actually, so it's not 5 seasons, it's 5 years. You shoot, they shoot 50 out of 52 weeks a year.
Right.
And
it's like wrestling.
It is. And it just kind of changed everything. It taught you how to be a professional. You you make your relationships, you
Sure.
you do your other thing. The downside to it is there's very little chance to do other work and try to expand your resume because you're always shooting. But at that time, I mean, I was I had no plans. I had no plan B.
Sure.
Parents don't like to hear that, but I had no plan B. And people always say, "What would you have done if it hadn't worked out?" Like, it did. So
Right.
Yeah,
I
it did.
don't need to play the hypothetical.
Right. Usually you play a hypothetical of if something would have worked out. Who sits around and plays the hypothetical of if my great life would have went the wrong way? That sounds like a book I don't want to read. You know?
No. Play the other way. It's horrible.
Yeah, not at all, man. Not at
Yeah.
all. Well,
Yeah.
listen, I know you probably still have a huge. Well, actually, I've got some clips of old Dr. Chris Ramsey. If you want to see that. I'm not going to play those. I'm not gonna
Oh
play
my
those.
God. I mean, I have a friend who will fire that out randomly. It's like this one where I'm shaking and I'm like, I was directed to do that. I told them, I said, this is going to look ridiculous. And they were like, no, he's a, and I'm like, oh God.
Them old blue
But-
hairs love it, man.
It's
We'll
funny.
skip those, man.
No, we did that. And then the next one was more recent was Pretty Little Liars. It was great. Got to do that. My son loved that because all the teenage girls in high school loved that show.
Sure.
And it's like, that's his dad. So he got attention for that.
Sure. That's smart.
So
kid.
yeah, well, that's middle school, I guess, for him. But
Yeah.
the thing about that is Chad Lowe was also on that. And he told me, he said, this is never going to be Pretty Little Parents. He said, we know what this is about. So similarly to when I was a kid, there was a 90210. Every now and then the parents would show up with like putting down groceries or like, hey, did you do your homework? And then you never see him again for like 8 episodes.
Right.
So
Right,
I do have something new going on now with Peacock that I can't quite talk about, but I'll get that back to you another time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, as soon as you do, man, we'll throw it up. I know how it is. We got the strike going on. Certain things can't talk about, and
Yeah.
you got
Yeah,
to.
we're close though. I was
That's great.
hoping it would be solved so we could talk about it, but it's fine.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's one of the reasons you're on the show. Outside of the things you've accomplished, is that you probably still, I know you are still diehard North Carolina Tar Heel, and we got to get into picking some games here. And one of the biggest games of the week this week is ACC matchup with the Tar Heels and the Hurricanes, buddy. So we'll save that one for the finale in the college round. But
All right.
let's start out with one of our games of the week here, and that's going to be USC getting 2.5 points at Notre Dame, and the over/under is 63. And we'll start with you, Nolan. What do you make of that one?
I'm USC. I think Notre Dame is so up and down. They are their last game. They've had a couple close games, and then this past week was just like, what are you doing? They're so sporadic. There's no because I'm like a New York Giants fan, so like now I'm just sitting there like want to chop my head off watching, because it's like I don't know what team I'm getting from one week to the next. Fortunately, that's my NFC team. My AFC team is the Chiefs because my dad's from Iowa, so I get a pass. So
Andy's
it's
a
like,
Missouri guy.
oh, my wife's from Missouri. I'm a Cardinal fan. I grew up in New England, but I'm a St. Louis Cardinal fan. My family in Iowa always sent me Chiefs gear. I've always liked the Chiefs, and now I marry a girl from Springfield. So it's like we're actually going to the New Year's game with our cousins. He has season tickets. We're going to see I think it's the Bengals.
Yeah,
right.
New Year's Eve. It's gonna be a party.
That's gonna be a great one.
So back to this. USC I believe is at home, correct?
No, it's at Notre Dame.
It doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, that's right. No, I know about this. I'm taking USC, but I'm going to take the under there.
You're gonna be under in this one. You think it's gonna be under 63, huh?
I think it'll be under 63. I don't think Notre Dame's going to get that much. I think they're going to. I think their quarterback is really inconsistent. I think they're going to try to ground and pound, and it's like Caleb Williams is going to win, but I think at home Notre Dame's defense is going to want to show up. In my opinion, they're going to want to do well, and they will, but Caleb Williams will prove to be too much. But I don't think there's going to be a high scoring game.
All right, man. Noah's on the Trojans. Andy, what about you?
Nolan, I got to tell you, my parents live in Springfield, and
Really?
my brother and his wife and 2 kids live in Springfield. I spend a lot of time in Springfield.
I know it like the back of my hand. We got Table Rock Lake, baby.
Yeah.
Go down to the Battlefield Mall.
Absolutely.
You want to go up there.
I went to college in Springfield, and so did my brother, and so did my
SMS.
I did, yeah.
Where my wife went.
Yep, I went to SMS, and when it was called
Missouri State now.
Right now, it's Missouri State. So I went when it was I tell your wife I lived in the dorm room Freddie as a freshman. She'll tell you what a shit dorm room that was. if around. I don't know how old she is, but yeah, it was horrible. So all my parents went to Missouri. I'm very pro Mizzou. I should have went to Mizzou, but as you told, I went to SMS because due to a girl, and I was kind of trying to.
Yep.
I had the opposite though. I was trying to get away from her. So she went to Mizzou. I went to SMS, so I didn't have to deal with her because I was 18 and dumb, and I knew it was going to be a problem.
Gotcha.
But I spent most of my life at the university. My grandfather worked there. My parents went there. So I've kind of lived as I've gotten older now, I've just leaned in to Missouri, but to the University of Missouri. People think I went there.
Yeah, and you could have been an employee at Bass Pro.
My God.
Bass Pro, the home of Bass Pro is Springfield, Missouri.
They have a great little aquarium there at
and
Bass Pro.
Andy's custard, folks.
Frozen
if you can
custard.
get yourself Freddy's out of Kansas City is fine, but Andy's frozen custard, when you've just decided to give up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Amen.
That's a good one, Mikey. This is all good. This is
I'm in. I'm
a Missouri pod here briefly.
I love it.
I grew up close to the Kansas City side, so I'm Royals instead of a Cardinals.
Cool. That's okay. That's okay. I actually, the only World Series I ever attended with my dad, John Tudor beat the Royals, and the next game in '85.
Yeah,
the next game is the call.
Game 6.
He called them safe. Yep.
Yeah.
And then,
game 6. Yeah, that's a good one. I love that
so,
game.
the fact that you stole one, that's fine. You guys.
Yeah, the Royals have won. I was saying the Royals. We're just Missouri potting here, Mike.
Yes. Okay, Missouri. USC. Come on. What are you doing?
Won in '85. They won in '15. I'll be dead when they win the next one. Yeah. I'm going to take USC +3 in the over. I think the over is the play here. I don't think USC blows anybody out. USC now is +3. I think 2.5, whatever it is. Notre Dame doesn't blow anybody out. I don't see how Notre Dame. I believe Hartman, the quarterback at Notre Dame, is going to be the quarterback that Caleb Williams is one of those quarterbacks who plays a little harder when the other quarterback's really good. And I think Caleb is going to looks forward. I think USC kind of sleepwalks. USC is a little like Georgia to me, but Georgia's different, right? Georgia sleepwalks, and then Georgia plays a team that's kind of good like Kentucky, and then just beats the absolute shit out of them.
For sure.
And it goes back, again, bet on Vandy this week when they play Georgia. Vandy's like a 30-some point home dog. Just take those because Georgia's going to beat them by 27. They won't cover. So it's just an extra free pick I'm giving you. But take USC. I'm going to take the 2.5 +3. It's probably going to keep going up, I imagine. I think it's at 3 right now. And I'm going to take the over because Notre Dame to beat USC is going to have to score. And I think this final score is going to be something like 38-31 in that area. And that's an over.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to differ too much from you guys at all here. I'm also going to be on USC, and I'm going to be on the under in this one, though. I'm going to be on the under in this one as well. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm flipping you. I'm going to be on the over. I misspoke there. I'm going to be on. Listen, it's bad blood in this thing. This is an old time rivalry game, so I get it. The under because you think there's going to be some knock 'em out, drag 'em out series in this one. Mm-hmm. But Notre Dame leads the series 48-37-5, and all that stuff's great to know. But here's the thing: USC hasn't been held under 40 points all year long yet. Their defense is dog shit abysmal. There's no doubt about it. It is, and that's going to open the door for Notre Dame to get in this thing. Notre Dame hasn't given up more than 30 all year long until last week when Louisville came in. And the thing I didn't like about that Louisville game was they pulled away late. That thing's close. They pulled away late. They blow the game late to Ohio State. They have to win in the last second against Duke, and then they get blown out late against Louisville. I'm starting to think this team has to be questioning, can we close out games? And they're going to have to shut down the passing game of USC, and that ain't happening. I mean, Caleb Williams is throwing for over 300 a game. He's going to put up a ton. So I'm telling you what, the Jeweled Shillelagh, it's heading back to Southern California. Give me USA laying the 2.5, and give me the over because, man, I think both these teams are going to score. Defense is bad, man, bad in this one. So we're a little bit different there on some over and under guys there, but everybody on USC on that one. And let's jump into this next one here. We got Oregon plus 2.5 at Washington. And Nolan, we were talking a bit earlier, and your son kicked at Washington for a bit up there.
Yep.
So this one a little bit close to you as well. Oregon plus 2.5 at Washington, 67.5 is the over under. Andy, what do you got?
Bo Nix on the road. I'll never bet Bo Nix on the road. And Bo Nix, starting quarterback for Oregon, that's an absolute no thank you for me in Oregon. I tend to like home dogs, as you know, Mikey, and I also tend to like
For sure.
home favorites under a field goal, right? So this one hits in the under a field goal. I do think Washington's a better team. I think the quarterback, Penix, whatever his name is, I think the old Indiana quarterback, is a better quarterback than Bo Nix, the old Auburn quarterback. I do like it's the NIL Bowl here at quarterback. Guys who went to the Pac-12, who left the Big Ten and the SEC because their teams were bad, and they decided to go to a little more offensive-minded coaches. Oregon's a team I think blows people out on the road, and I think Bo Nix is good, at home. But I think on the road, Oregon's going to struggle. So I also like this over. It's like, to me, the over is a lock. Like this is in the 70s or 80s. There's just going to be a ton of points. Like I would, even if we weren't even talking about this game, I would take the over in the Washington versus Oregon. There's no way this game's going to be 21-18, 21-17. This game is going to be like 45-38, 45-41. And I'm going to make sure I'm on the right side, which is Washington. Give me Washington. Give me the over.
Washington and the over. And I got to tell you, buddy, with everything you just laid out there and knowing you from doing this show, I smelled that pick coming a mile away. Nolan, what do you got on this one, man?
Something, if this were later in the year, if we knew that what the weather was going to be like, then, sometimes if it's cold, it's rainy, you're not going to get many field goals up there. It's a tough place to kick on a close game. But I got to agree with Andy. I don't think it's going to be, a nail biter. I'm going to take Washington at home. I think, and for a lot of the reasons he said too, I think Oregon's a great team. Bo Nix is great on the road. It sometimes struggles, but for his first ever time playing up, to see what it's like up there, it is not an easy place to go in and win. And I think Penix is just having a potential Heisman year. I mean, they both are, but knowing how hard it is to play in Washington, in Seattle is because of my own personal stuff with my son. I'm taking Washington, and I'm taking the over. I think weather permitting, now, Andy, can we change our pick? Or would you change your pick if all of a sudden it's a torrential downpour?
Yes.
Because then it's like we can't throw the ball. But so, I got to check the Weather Channel. But barring monsoon off the lake there, I like the over. I think it's going to be a real fun game to watch.
Yeah.
I think whether you're a Washington, Oregon fan, or just a college football fan, it's one of my highlights I want to watch this week because it's going to be, and they hate each other. So it's I like Washington at home, and I like the over.
Yeah, well, I think you hit the nail right on the head with a little bit of Heisman talk here, because this is a game where you have both offenses are averaging more than 560 yards a game. Okay, Oregon's averaging 52 points. Washington's averaging 47. I mean, these teams like to blow people out and they like to get it going. Two Heisman candidates, Nix and Penix. Penix is averaging 400 yards a game in the air, guys. I mean, he's out in Washington, so nobody's seeing him play right now. And all we hear about is Caleb Williams. But I'm telling you what, Penix is the real deal. And Bo Nix has been playing really well as well. But here's the thing to me. Neither one of them have really played anybody, man. I mean, they just haven't. Oregon, their best win is against Texas Tech, and that was the only time they gave up more than 30 points. But they win that game 38-30. Texas Tech, not what we all thought they were. But there's a little nod here. They blew out Colorado, but listen, Colorado's way overhyped. Andy and I have beat this to death on the show. They're overhyped. They're not a good football team. They're just not. But Oregon's defense, listen, here's some of the scores they've given up this year. Regardless of who you played, this is impressive. 7, 6, 6, 10, and 30. They're playing good defense finally up in Oregon. There's no doubt about that. Washington, kind of the same thing, man. They really haven't played anything, and then they're in a squeaker last week against Arizona, who's better this year, but they're not that great. So I think, to me, this game is going to come down to which team responds better to the other offense keeping up with them, if that makes sense to you. You know what I mean? Like, every week these teams are used to pulling away early, and the other offense can't match them. It's going to be a little in these guys' heads that, oh, they scored, we scored. They scored, we scored. Oh, shit, they scored, we scored. You know what I mean? So whoever can – it's going to be the first team to get a stop and then have a 5-minute drive is going to set the tone in this game. But I think this game has big Penix energy. I had to, guys. Sorry.
Nice.
I think this game has big Penix energy, man. Give me Washington. Lay in the 2.5. But I'm going to surprise the both of you here. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under in this one and hope for some rain, guys.
Yeah. Mikey, that is a absolute dead bet. That's, to me, that's a dead bet. There's no way this score is under. They could make it 74. I'm still taking the over.
I don't know, man. I both these teams are playing a little more defense than I think people are giving them credit for.
If it's raining, you got an argument, but I don't know.
Yeah, well,
Oregon's going to play Portland State, Hawaii, Colorado, Stanford. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, yes, they can hold those offenses down under 10.
Yeah, and the big thing, that what you said, that squeaker against Arizona, you shouldn't have a squeaker against Arizona. That is not a good football team.
Nope.
Right?
No, that's trap game, man. Right before Oregon, trap game. You're feeling yourself.
By the way, that's the other thing. That Arizona State, Colorado, everyone's talking Colorado, woo, Dion. I'm like, dude, Arizona State is
terrible.
Not a good football team.
No.
And Andy, I don't know if you know, my son actually played this past spring for them, but he's not on the. They brought in an NIL guy, so it's okay. But he, he was like, yeah, there's some real issues at that team. That was for that game to be close. I'm like, no,
Colorado not as good as everyone thinks.
Mikey, who was on Arizona State last weekend? Do you remember? Do you recall who said Arizona State's going to cover this? And
you did. You did. And wound up being a push, but you were
no, on the push. They were in at 4 +4.
Oh, we were at 4 for the show. You're right.
That's right, because Arizona State, it was their last chance to win. Last chance was this last week until the last game of the season at Arizona. Then those rivalry games are anybody can win. But their Arizona State schedule, by the way, the next 5 weeks is just
it's brutal. It's brutal. And Andy, you were right. They covered the 4 we were on. No doubt about it. And as much as you hated it, I teased Colorado to +2 and a bunch. He hates when I crossed the line, though. He hates when I teased it the other way. But it worked out for me a little bit. But hey, let's move into the game. This one, the main reason that you're here, Nolan, is to give us your pick on this one. So we'll let you have the last word here. So we'll go to Andy first. Miami Hurricanes +3.5 at North Carolina. The over-under here is 57. And Andy, let us know what's up, buddy.
Well, this is a hard one because, Miami, we've all seen the highlights from last week's unbelievable. Just take a kneel down, beats Georgia Tech, doesn't do it, and then Georgia Tech wins. I mean, so it's like I kind of want to take Carolina at 3.5. I want to. My body wants to, but my brain is not letting me. I do also, by the way, have a ticket on Drake May to win the Heisman at 16-1 at the beginning of the year. So part of me is like, come on, Carolina. I just want Carolina just to keep drubbing people. And I want Drake May to be a part of it. They got that wide receiver back. Last week he played, what's his name? Something Watkins.
Tez Walker.
Tez Walker. There you go. And that guy's good. It gives Drake more options. I've bet against North Carolina the last few weeks, and they just against Syracuse, which was a horrible bet, and they just pummeled me. Having said all that, I'm going to take the Miami Hurricanes plus 3.5, mainly because I just feel like it's if you're writing the story, like we're going to see if they like their coach, right? I like Cristobal. Cristobal did the same thing, by the way, at Oregon. He made the same mistake. He didn't kneel down once, cost his team a game. Cristobal, not maybe the smartest coach in the world, or needs to go to Madden and have some like 11-year-old kid teach him how timeouts work in Madden.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, I guess I'm going to see if Miami can hold the line here for the coach Cristobal. It'll make up if they can win or hang close with the Heels. So give me the over. The only way that happens is the over. Drake May is going to put points up. Give me the over. Give me Miami.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, I think you bring up some good points, especially with Drake May. Listen, both of these teams like to run the ball, but they build around the pass. There's no doubt about that. But they're running for about 200 a game, both these teams. I don't think a lot of people know that because they're focused on these quarterbacks, man. Both teams scoring 40 plus a game. So until last week, this had all the makings of an undefeated showdown, man. And even if you had a crystal ball, you couldn't have seen that crystal ball meltdown coming and the end of that game. That was abysmal. I won't beat it to death anymore. You're right. A 12-year-old on Madden knows better than what he did during that game. It's terrible. But listen, Miami, again, their defense, good. They haven't played anybody really tough outside of A&M, and they pounded A&M 48-33. But that's the only time they've given up more than 30 points. And again, the Miami defense, 7 points, 7 points, 3 points, 20 points last week to Georgia Tech in the loss because they were on the field the whole game with how bad the offense was. I don't know what Georgia Tech figured out and shut them down, but they did. That being said, the Miami defense is holding teams to 58 yards rushing a game. And North Carolina loves to pound Hampton, and they're going to need to get him going in this one, I think. But if you look at his stats, though, they're a little misleading as to who they played. He's yet to close in on a 100-yard game. He hasn't. But they pound him, and they're big behind that running game. Good news for North Carolina, like you pointed out, Andy. May finally came around. Last week on the show, we pointed out that May hadn't even been playing well yet. I mean, he was 5 to 4 touchdowns, interceptions. Last week, he goes 33 for 47, 442, 3 touchdowns, no picks, blows Clemson's doors off, gets his receiver back, like you guys mentioned, and I think they're ready to roll now. The question is, with that Miami loss, does that hurt them, or was that a wake-up call for them? And I'm going to tell you, I think it hurt them. I'm taking the home team in this one. Hook be damned. You can keep the hook, the 3.5. I'm going to take North Carolina. Lay in the 3.5, and I'm going to take the under, Andy. I'm taking the under in this one. So, Nolan, give us that Tar Heel love, buddy. What do you see?
I see.
There we go. There we go.
Full on with the Heels. Just taking Carolina, and I'll tell you. So I think Drake May is on Heisman watch. Actually. Can't even do that in a booth. I'm just going to show the heel. Whenever we record in this booth, there's no bill. You guys got to learn that. So here's the deal. Drake May's on Heisman watch. I think he's playing really well. When I was at North Carolina, Mac Brown was the coach. He then left for Texas and now has come back. But, and that's the last time they were really good. I love them at home. After I think you said it really well. I think Miami, that just I don't even know I can't even talk about it. But what I saw about the players and what their faces on the sidelines at the end of that game was you saw them throwing their hands up.
Yeah.
I feel like they have been. Like, how do you go into a week of practices looking at that coach going, we're playing our asses off for this guy who's going to do something like that? That was stolen from them. But that said, Georgia Tech, not a strong team. They didn't play very well. It shouldn't have been that close. So I'm absolutely Carolina at home over Miami. I think, Miami's wants out of it, but Carolina is playing for some prestige in the ACC. It's been Clemson's conference for so many years. Dabo Sweeney's had them locked up, and it's time for a little, if God wasn't a Tar Heel, why is the sky Carolina blue, fellas? Is what they said. The question here is the over-under.
Yeah.
If Miami's defense shows up, I still think Carolina's going to win. But it's at 57. Is that right?
57 and a half. They're hooking us here. No, it's at 57 straight. 57 straight. Yeah, it's a tough one.
This is a really hard one.
Yeah.
Watching how Drake May played last week, Tez Walker's is he's back. They already had some really nice weapons. This one is really tough. I don't, because I can see a 30-27. I can see
it's right there.
It's right.
Vegas knows. Vegas knows, man.
Right on that mark.
I
think, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna take the over, Mike.
Okay.
Just because you took the under. That's the only reason. Just to see how we do. I'm just gonna, I'll take Carolina. I'm gonna be optimistic and take the over.
It's probably a good play to go against me on over-unders. I tell you what, I'm doing well on picking against the spread, but as you heard at the top of the show, my over-under plus minus on the season is not good, man. It is not good. So you're good to go against me there, no doubt about it. Now, before we get to those NFL games, guys, we got to throw it over to the sponsors. And Nolan, you're going to appreciate both these sponsors. They'll both take you right back to your bullpen days at North Carolina, my friend. I promise you. First up, the official beer choice of the DWMOD podcast, guys. And that's Old English 800. Hey, enjoy it this weekend with the games. Get you a brass monkey, little splash of this bad boy with some orange juice, maybe a little bit more of that bad boy and a splash of orange juice. Get yourself a brass monkey, guys. Drink responsibly. Have some fun this weekend at the game and enjoy an Old English 800. And our next sponsor, you guys are very familiar with Black Hawk Coffee and their latest ad campaign featuring our main man, Gordon Butterfield, minor league baseball Hall of Fame announcer, and he is on the call for Black Hawk Coffee. There you go.
What just happened? What just happened is brought to you by Black Hawk Coffee. Start your day off with Black Hawk Coffee and you'll be flying high and landing right on time. That's Black Hawk Coffee, a Colombian Bean Company. Janet Lipnicki with a fresh cup of Black Hawk Coffee, looking to take on a washed-out beef patch. A ginger 1-2 and she's in the clear. Oh, sniper! Oh, what just happened? Looks like we've got action from the 6-story window of the book depository as Janet takes that second step. Oh, bang! Down she goes. Let's take one more look. And here we see she goes wrong right there. She's simply uncoordinated and bang! Her face in the sand quicker than an ostrich. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Somebody put some chalk around that coffee. Black Hawk down. Oh, what just happened?
Well, let's move into a little NFL action here, guys, to close out the week. Our first game, we got the 49ers laying 5 at Cleveland, and the over-under here is 38.5. Andy, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go first. Game depends to me if Watson plays, right? If Watson plays, there's not I love the smash spot, the Browns here. If Watson doesn't play, it's the 49ers to me. So mainly because I have my one weird thing, Mike, or my one weird thing. I have a lot of weird things, but one of my weird things is the team we just saw play on national TV.
Yeah.
And the team that won, and that would be the San Francisco 49ers, who just smashed the Dallas Cowboys. The next week, the line goes a little higher, and everybody feels the need to play the 49ers, right? Because we just saw them kill the Cowboys. Cowboys are great. And then that's when I like to bet the other side of it, which would be the Browns in this example, right? +5. My problem is with this game is I do not know who's the quarterback of the Browns. I would not feel comfortable going into this game and being like DTR, the UCLA quarterback, is the starting quarterback for the Browns. And I'm like, I'm on the Browns +5. And that line's now at like San Francisco -7, -8 come Sunday. Like, there's no way I'm doing that. And I would just tell the listeners, don't bet this game right now. Wait till Saturday or Sunday, right? That's the only way this game works. But for this contest, I'm going to take San Francisco. I want to take Cleveland. It's a home dog. I just don't know who the quarterback is. Right. I don't know how anybody's taking Cleveland, to be honest with you, right now. Mm-hmm. So I will take San Francisco -5. That defense is really good. I guess I'm gonna. If I'm under the assumption that it's going to be not Watson, I'm going to take the under.
Yeah.
Under that assumption. And that's the assumption I'm going to be on for this game. So it's going to be something like 17-7, 17-3, 24-3, and I'll take San Francisco in the under.
Okay.
But if Watson plays, I would maybe switch.
That's just the one thing I'm going to disagree with you on just in this game, because even if he does play, he's not all the way healthy. He's a little banged up and he ain't been playing well to begin with. So I love Cleveland's defense. I think they don't get anywhere near the credit on the national stage they should. Everybody, they got their media darlings. It's Micah Parsons for MVP. Garrett's having a better season than Micah Parsons. Give me Myles Garrett all day long over Micah Parsons. That Cleveland defense is legit. But so is the 49ers. Their defense is legit as well. I'm just going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with the 49ers. If Watson were healthy and had been playing well, I'm with you. I'd be all over the 5 points here. I think it's going to be an under game, and I'm going to take the Niners to cover based on exactly what you said. It's a quarterback situation for me. So, Nolan, what do you think, man?
I can't add to anything. I take the Niners. With Watson, it makes it a little more interesting if he plays or not. But 49ers are kind of a juggernaut right now. Christian McCaffrey is playing as well as he's played ever, and his running opens up the passing game, and it's just, and God love him. Mr. Irrelevant is being very relevant, and Deebo Samuel Bosa on the edge is just an animal. Mm-hmm. It's so I'm taking Niners, and Niners will they'll cover.
Yeah,
you're going under as well on that score, then I imagine. Yeah.
What was the
38.5
under?
Yeah, under on that for sure.
We kind of saw this game too last week when the Ravens played the Browns, and the Browns was the last time the Browns played before the bye, right? And the Browns came out with DTR as quarterback, and then they also came 28-3.
Yeah.
Like similar, only the Niners are much better than the Ravens. So, 28-3 again is probably
Niners under.
Yeah, for sure. Quick question for you guys now. Just a little side bet here. Does Christian McCaffrey's 14 games straight with a touchdown come to an end against the Browns this weekend? What say you?
No. He will score.
Yeah? You think he'll score, huh?
Yes.
All right. Well, hey, I'll give you another little side bet before we move to the next game, in that USC Notre Dame game. What's that running back for Notre Dame? I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Take him to go for 103 touchdowns against that USC defense. I'll tell you that right now. They're bad. 3 TDs. He's their pounder, and they're going to pound it down there. I'm going. If they give me that line, I'm going to take it. Anyway, let's get to the next game here. This one is on the docket, close to my heart. My Detroit Lions laying 3 points at Tampa Bay. Over under is 43.5. I'll be quick here, guys. I say it every week on the show. The Lions are not a fad. They're the real deal. They're not a team you're going to sneak up on and be like, well, who's showing up this week? Is it this Lions team or that Lions team? That ain't this team this year. I told you last week they were going to smack Carolina in the mouth and let everybody know they're not traveling around feeling themselves. They're on a mission, and it's going to be the same thing this week. 2 teams vying for their division title, and Baker's coming down to earth this weekend. Give me the Lions laying 3. I'll take the Lions laying an additional 3 and laying 6, and give me the over 43.5 because this offense is bombing. Nolan, what do you think about this Lions game, man?
I'll be quick too. Lions, and I'll take the over. I think I like, I like Jared Goff. I liked him when he was in LA, and then they upgraded for Stafford, and everybody was like, wow, boy, the Rams, Super Bowl. To see him play that well, to see this team, this team, as you know, has been so bad for so long, has had great Hall of Famers, and it wasn't able to put it together. And it looks like they're putting it together. I don't usually like to go against home teams, but I don't know what Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers are. I don't know what they are this year. And I think the Lions have found their identity. And I think it's Lions over.
Yeah, I'm with you, Andy.
So you're all on the Lions, huh?
No doubt. Here it comes.
Oh, baby. Here's what I love. I love the team. I love betting against this team. The team that everyone is kind of now, Dallas has gotten thumped a little bit. Now everybody's kind of moved Detroit up to like, hey, this is the third best team in the NFC. This team's like, this is in the same air as like Philly and San Francisco. No, my friends. There's a large gap. There's a gap. And that gap's big. And that gap's big enough to where I believe Tampa Bay is underrated, right? Tampa Bay is underrated. Here's the other thing. Mike Evans is a very good wide receiver. A little hurt, but should play, right? Godwin, a good wide receiver. He'll be there. White, the running back, very good. Baker is not making the same dumb Baker mistakes he made in Cleveland. He's actually kind of following the script, right? He's got him hitting Evans. He's got him throwing up to Godwin. This line is going to – here's the thing. A public better bets the Lions. This is a public team right now, is the Detroit Lions. So just my advice is wait on – if you want Tampa, wait, because that line's going to keep going up because people are like they're buying into Detroit, right? Detroit is up there. It's going to be 3. It's going to be 3.5. It's going to be 4. It's going to get up there. It's going to get high. I will take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I will never, ever put good money on Jared Goff on the road outdoors. Never. I promise you, never. There's no way I'm going to do it. No way do I feel comfortable being like, hey, guys, Jared Goff's on the road outside. You want to put some money on him? No, absolutely not. Give me the over. Give me the Bucks. Give me the Bucks money line. I love it. Let's go.
I'm not going to push the Lions on you like religion, man. I'm just going to let you come to it yourself. You will be a believer. You will be.
I am a believer. This line's just bad. It's a bad line for them.
All right, man. That's
you know my theory. You play the number, not the team, right? Just like last week, you play the number. The number told you to play the Steelers. You don't play the team. Don't play who you think's right. Play the number. Playing the number is the Buccaneers here. The number's going to go up.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, hey, let's jump into the last game here. Jags -4.5 at the Colts, over under 45.5. Nolan, who you got in this one?
I have to go first. This was actually a tough one for me. So I'm literally going to go with this. Here's the deal. I don't remember in my lifetime the Jags, except their one good year, they winning 3 games in a row. They've been in London for 2 weeks playing these games. They're at home. That's great. I'm going. Is Anthony Richardson? What is he? What is he? The Colts are interesting. They're an interesting team. My gut says Jags at home. Trevor Lawrence, he's playing great. That's what's going on. I'm going with jet lag, and I think the Colts are gonna shock them.
All right.
I think I'm gonna take the Colts to win, and I think the jet lagging, I'm going to take the under just because I think flying west to east has always been easier for me, but east back to west, I know it's not that big. It's just Jacksonville, just across the pond, 6 hours, but your body's kind of getting used. You got to go through practice and fatigue, could be injuries. I don't know. I'm going against my instincts. I'm taking Colts in the under.
Well, I hear you on that one, and I'm glad you brought up a fact of the Jags and winning 3 games in a row, because I've said in multiple weeks on this show, I will not take this Indianapolis Colts team to win 3 games in a row. So that's not going to happen this season. Not that they have a chance this week, but I'm telling you, I don't think they're that good. Richardson, upside's great there. I think he's going to be a good player, but right now he's all banged up because he hasn't learned that you can't take off running like that in the NFL. I think he's going to be out for the next 4 weeks, they said earlier this morning, maybe. I think they just announced that.
4 to 8.
Yeah, and they're making it out to be like it's a shoulder thing, but we've all seen him get his clock cleaned and taken out of the game a couple times at the end of the game in the last couple of weeks, and they're hiding some concussion stuff, I think.
Wait, hold on. I may have to renege. I don't know about – did he get banged
4 to
up?
6 weeks, he's out.
Who?
Minshew. Richardson is out. Minshew is the man, who they're better with anyway offensively. But Richardson is out. Minshew will start for the Colts. So if you want to change it up, man, you can. It's not too late. We haven't hung up. We'll come back to you. You think on it, and you get the last word here. But I'm going to take the Jags, laying the 4.5. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to take the over in this one. Andy, what do you think?
Nolan, I'm going to tell you something to keep you strong. You are on the right side, my friend. And here's why. No one knows what this Jaguars team. Why do we think the Jags are good? Because everybody thinks the Jags are good because we were told that before the season started, right? And everybody thinks the Colts are bad because we were told that before the season started. I keep saying it, and I don't know why Mikey won't listen to me. The Indianapolis Colts have a really good football coach who's got those guys playing really hard. And he used to coach in Philly, and he knows how to coach. And he used to have Gardner Minshew as his backup quarterback. By the way, Gardner Minshew, probably the best backup in all of football in the NFL. Probably the one guy a lot of teams would trade for if they could to get him. But the Colts did it because Gardner Minshew knew the system that this guy was putting in. Is Anthony Richardson a better quarterback than Gardner? Yes. But Anthony's not there. Also, the Colts have Moss, and they got Taylor. They got Dow. They got those guys can run the ball. The Jags can be run on. Jags got good defense, but they can be run on. Then they can throw it, right? And Gardner's going to be able to – Gardner's kind of like a copied version of Baker, right? Only maybe a little more arrogant than Baker, which is hard to be. But Minshew and Baker are fighting it out. Here's what I know about the Jaguars. They were 1-2 before they went to London, and now they're 3-2, and now they're whatever. Now I'm supposed to believe they're good. Like, no, they beat a jet-lagged Bills team who you could bet on that and see that coming a mile away. And then they beat the Atlanta Falcons on the road. Desmond Ridder, who I'm constantly like, don't bet Desmond Ridder on the road.
Yeah,
don't bet Desmond Ridder. So the Jaguars have beaten nobody, right? They beat a Bills team who was tired. They like that Bills game after they played the Dolphins the week before. Give me the Colts at plus 4.5. Stay there. Don't run. This is the time. That number is so sweet. It is so sweet. I love that plus 4.5. I like to tease the Colts up to 10.5. I'm going to be on the Colts money line, and I'm going to take the over. Gardner's going to get it done. In Minshew, we trust. Final score is going to be something like 27-24.
All right.
What's the over under?
45.5.
I'm going to stick with the Colts.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with the Colts, but 45.5. I'll stick with I'm just going to stick.
You stick with the under? Yeah. Hey, stick to your guns, man. It's served you well so far.
I mean, life. I can see it. I can see a 24-17, but that doesn't cover it.
No. Yeah. Well, hey.
Unless my math is that shitty.
No, you're good.
I'm gonna stick with it. And now the thing I'm just thinking, Gardner Minshew, who was with the Jags at one point, right?
I mean, he's been everywhere. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I think Minshew was there. So it might be. So he'd be. Listen, jet lag sucks, and I don't know what they do if they put him in cryo chambers. It's hard. They're coming off those 2 weeks. Might be feeling a little good, thinking they're banged up, and I think I don't know. It's like just a feeling, so I'm going to go with that.
The Colts are good.
I love it.
How about this feeling? Actually, the Colts are pretty good, right? Like the Jags lost to the Texans at home. The Jags are fine. They're not world beaters.
Yeah.
No, they're not. We're going to see what's going to happen in this one, though. I'm on the opposite side of the fence from you guys, but hey. That's it for this week's Big Six pick, man. Nolan North, we want to thank you for being on the show this weekend. It's great to have you. Yeah, I know we got to let you go, man, because you got stuff to do. You got stuff to get done. I know that's the fact.
That is true. Hey, listen, I don't even remember half of what I said, so send me my picks.
Will do.
Send me my picks and my things, so because I'm going to be watching this weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
Go Heels. Come on.
Go Heels. And I'll tell you what, if they end up in the ACC championship game, maybe we'll get you back on the show for picks in that week, man. That'll be a lot of fun, man. But we'll talk. And hey, thanks again for being here, brother. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
All right.
It's time for another episode of All Right Bet.